brother priest, Sister Elena, and the members of her council of the Congregation of the Sisters of Mary, the Brothers of Christ, the benefactors and friends of the congregation, the graduates from Sisters of Mary and Brother of Christ, the students from Boys Town and Girls Town, friends and benefactors, acquaintances and devotees of our Blessed Mother, as well as of the Venerable Aloysius Ward. Today, we are gathered together to honor the patroness of the congregation founded by Monsignor Al Swart, now Venerable Aloysius Ward, the Virgin of the Poor. It is a title of the Blessed Mother which is not that popular, yet we know how much she is being invoked to, especially by this congregation. The first apparition of the Virgin of the Poor was on Sunday, January 15, 1933, to an 11-year-old girl named Mariette Becco in a small, insignificant country in Banu, Belgium. There were 7 various apparitions from January 15 to March 1942. During the third apparition on January 19, Mariette Becco asked the Virgin, "Who are you, beautiful lady?" The beautiful lady replied, "I am the Virgin of the Poor." And actually, that was her first message, introducing herself to be the Virgin of the Poor. Furthermore, she mentioned, "I come to relieve suffering," second message. And the third message was, "Pray very much." So the 3 messages of the Blessed Virgin Mary. I am the Virgin of the Poor, I come to relieve suffering, and she requested Mariette to pray very much. The supernatural origin was officially recognized by the Bishop of Leeds on August 22, 1949, 16 years after the event. And on August 14, 1956, as recognition of the Church, Monsignor Forney, the Apostolic Nuncio to Brussels, solemnly crowned the statue of the Virgin of the Poor that we are celebrating today. And with that, recognizing the Virgin in this title, her appearance in Banu, Belgium, as officially recognized by the Church. 3 years before this apparition, specifically on September 18, 1930, there was born in Washington, D.C., United States of America, Aloysius Ward, who later would be spending her life for the welfare of the poor to relieve their suffering. He started his seminary training in 1944 and went first to St. Charles, the Houston Seminary in Washington, D.C., then Mary Knowles Seminary in New York. However, convinced that he had to live as a poor man to be able to really know the needs of the poor and thus serve them with complete devotion, Aloysius Ward joined the Auxiliary Society of the Missions, an obscure missionary community in Belgium, where he lived a life of much lesser comfort and greater hardship than he did in the United States of America. While in Belgium for his studies, he would visit and pray to the Virgin of the Poor in Banu during summer vacations. Thus was developed his devotion to the Lady and his love for the poor. After his ordination to the priesthood on June 29, 1957, Aloysius volunteered to work in Busan, Korea. He arrived there on December 8, 1957. The country was plagued with many widows, orphans, beggars, street children as consequence of the Korean War. Almost one half of the population was without productive employment and reduced as last resort to selling rugs, begging, and stealing. Nevertheless, instead of being discouraged for what he saw, Aloysius Ward, the newly ordained priest, even thanked God because after 30 years of seminary preparation, he finally arrived at a place where he thought he could serve the Lord best to the poorest of the poor. Among these people in Korea, Aloysius Ward put into reality the words of Jesus during the Last Judgment. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. This would be the beginning of his apostolate, which would later on spread to different countries, serving the poor among the poorest children who numbered by thousands. To effect his works, he founded the Sisters of Mary and Brothers of Christ. Thus were established the Boys Town and Girls Town and other philanthropic institutions. These institutions are meant to take care, educate, and give bright future to children from very poor families, from their early age to their late teens. Out of the donations of the benefactors and friends, he built hospitals for the very indigent patients, hospices for the homeless and disabled elderly men and women, retarded children, and unwed mothers. However, his main concern was not only material needs of the poor, but more especially the spiritual aspects of their life. He wanted to offer many souls to God and to the Blessed Mary, whom he fondly called the Virgin of the Poor. What made possible and brought about the progress of the apostolate of Aloysius Ward? The very first day is his deep intimacy with Christ. He was a very prayerful man. He had an unconditional faithfulness to God that he sought daily his companion before he started his work. This was the source of his strength and power to carry on his pastoral work, his prayer life. His spirituality found nourishment in the faithful and devoted celebration of the Eucharist and in his undying love to the Mother of God, the Virgin of the Poor. From the Eucharistic sacrifice flowed mainly the pastoral charity of the servant of God, which was thus the center and root of his entire priestly life. Father Al sees Jesus in the faces of those whom he himself wished to be identified: the poor, the defenseless, the marginalized. He has a genuine recognition of the inestimable value of every person. His main concern was to take these children out from the vicious circle of poverty and give them hope for a bright future. And many of you are witnesses to this aspiration of the prayer life. Another important thing in the apostolate of the servant of God was his total trust in the divine providence. The questions that many people who observe His work usually ask was, how do you sustain thousands of children, providing all the benefits they need? For anyone who has little faith, prospect might be doubtful. But the servant of God, Father Al, acted as if he had millions of dollars to spare, which he eventually had. Though looking back to the beginning of his work, he probably had nothing but a sheer faith. He made God responsible from the very beginning of his enterprise. For his resources, Father Al's convinced those who were rich and the materially blessed not only to use their material blessing for self-satisfaction, but above all to be shared with the poor so that they might live in a dignified life. He was to the conviction that if a channel could be made to make the rich help the poor, the money would come pouring in. Thus, he helped the rich see that their voluntary poverty becomes the needed wealth of the poor. Furthermore, the servant of God experienced a lot of humiliation. He was suspected, physically harmed, misunderstood, and above all, from the year 1989, he suffered the serious effects of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig disease, which slowly and painfully took away his life. Yet these uncomfortable experiences, particularly his infirmities, did not deter him from performing his priestly ministry, from attending to the spiritual needs of his children, and from taking responsibility for his decisions. Toward the end of his life, he calmly and joyfully embraced the sickness that has made him one of the many handicapped people his sisters and brothers serve. To bear suffering patiently for the sake of others is an effective form of ministry because it is very selfless. One can easily become proud of what is done for others, especially if he is successful. But it is not easy to be proud when one can only suffer for others. At the stage of his life, Father Al started exercising the ministry of suffering. His illness made him immobile, but still, even on a wheelchair. He continued praying the rosary, hearing confessions, preaching, and living heroically the virtues of truth, justice, charity, chastity, humility, penance, and fortitude. His love for God and the poor consumed him. He breathed his last on March 16, 1992 at the Girls' Town in Manila, Philippines, and was buried at the Boys' Town in Silang, Cavite, Philippines. Before he died, Monsignor Al expressed his wish to build a replica of the sign of Our Lady of Anew in Silang and be buried under the altar at the foot of Our Lady. In the depths of his heart, he believed and was convinced that, as he wrote, Mary of Anew chose me at an early age, just as she was erupted in the life of Maria Becco. She suddenly appeared in my life without any preparation. She brought me to Belgium, where I discovered her. I heard of Anew before then. I never heard of Anew before then. So my priesthood, in a special way, belongs to Our Lady of Anew. My apostolate is hers, and I would like to be buried at her feet and say that all praise, honor, and glory for anything good accomplished in my life goes to her and to her alone, to Our Lady, the Virgin of the Poor. After the death of Father Aloysius Wards, witnesses testified to the fame of sanctity during his life, at his death, and after death. For this reason, Sister Michaela Kim, Superior General of the Sisters of Mary, wrote to His Eminence Jaime Cardinal Sin, Archbishop of Manila, to initiate the diocesan process for the cause of beatification and canonization of Aloysius Ward. On August 2, 203, Archbishop Jaime Cardinal Sin replied positively to Sister Michaela Sin, saying, Monsignor Al is indeed a holy man. The seeds of charity that he has sown have now blossomed and borne much fruit. I am sure our people, especially the youth, will find in him a great inspiration and example. Especially today, we need to reawaken compassion in the hearts of people, especially for the poorest among them. The diocesan process of the cause of canonization started on December 10, 2003, and was concluded on May 24, 2004. On January 22, 2015, 11 years later, Pope Francis approved the heroic virtues, that is, that Aloysius Ward practiced virtues in a heroic manner, thus giving him the title of Venerable. For now on, that is what is needed is a miracle through his intercession for him to be declared blessed, and another miracle to be declared a saint. That is our prayer, that is our hope, that someday we'll be able to see Monsignor Aloysius Ward, now Venerable Aloysius Ward, elevated on the altar as blessed and afterward as saint. God bless you.